All right, we're talking about user input. So up until this point, we have been acting almost solely as the programmer. That is the person who is actually writing the code. And our only job as the user has been clicking the run code button and reading what is popping up in the output console. So we are currently filling both shoes of programmer and user, but it's possible that we as the programmer will not get to interface directly with the people who are using our code. Our code could go to someone who is going to use it that we have never met before. So it's possible that the programmer and user are not the same person, although during this class, they mostly will be. Talking about why we're going to do some user input. Up until now, the programs that we have been writing only interact with the user in one direction. Right now, they're only displaying information to the user. So today, we're going to add the other direction of interaction. We're going to let the user interact with the program instead of just letting the program interact with the user. So there are two necessary elements to getting input from the user. One, we need a way to receive whatever information the user types. And two, we need some method to store that information. So we learned about the way to store information last class. We learned about variables. And today, we're going to talk about how to actually get what the user types. And that is using the input function. So whenever we use input, we are going to be prompting the user for some information. Similar to how we use print, we are allowed to put a message to the user inside of our input, and that will let the user know what kind of information they're expected to be typing in here. So I could have an input asking happy, but that doesn't give a lot of useful prompting to the user. So if I wanted to ask the user if they're happy and I'm expecting yes or no, I would want to say something like, are you happy? And then tell the user what they should be typing in to this prompt. So it's helpful to be more clear with the user because we, as the programmer, don't have any control over the user as an individual. The user could type anything in that they want. So it is best that we, as the programmer, make it as clear to the user as possible what they should be doing. So to actually save a value into a variable, we're going to create a variable and we're going to assign the value from our input function. And so whatever the user types in is what this whole side of the equal sign will equal. So when I run this program, my output console will show me what is your name, and it will pause the program until the user presses enter on their keyboard, until they send the message into the input function. So they can choose to type things on their keyboard before they press enter, but they don't have to type anything in. So that keep in mind, the user could just type in nothing. So here, if I input what is your name, and I'm the user here, I would type in Mr. Macmillan and then press enter, and then that value, Mr. Macmillan, would be saved into my variable name. So what type do we think we would see from this input? We talked about our type function last class. So if I get the type of that name variable, what do you think we would see?
An integer if it's Elon Musk's son.
true. If it's Elon Musk's son, maybe an integer. But I see several people in the chat, absolutely correct. We would see a string because I've typed in characters. I've typed in characters in here. I'm going to get a string value back. Now, what if I ask the user for their age and I print the type of that age variable? What type do we expect to see here? I see a string in the chat. Anyone think that age would be stored as an integer? All right. You see some guesses on both sides. And the answer is we are gonna actually also see a string here. And that's because anything that we type in on our keyboard, those all count as characters. So everything that is typed in is going to be saved as a string value in Python. Now, what if I wanted to do some math operations with my age? What if I wanted to tell the user, oh, after you tell me how old you are, I'm going to tell you in 1 year you will be this old. Can I do math with a string value?
No.
No, I'm not allowed to add numbers to a string value. So in order to fix this, we're going to do something called typecasting. And typecasting is what we do when we change a value's type. So we do this using the functions that are named after types. We have int, we have string, and we have float. Each of those functions is going to take one piece of information. It's going to take the value we want to convert, and it will hand back the converted value. So we need to do something with what they give back to us. Usually save it into a variable. So as an example, I have my variable num equaling the number 42. If I say stir of num, what do we think word is going to equal? Close. All right, Thomas and Pauline, you're correct. We're going to equal 42 in quotes because now it is because word is a string value. Now, do you think that doing this is going to change the contents of my variable num, or will num still be the number 42?
Num will still be the number.
Num will still be the number, absolutely correct. So doing this typecasting will produce a value of the designated type where the value is whatever you gave it transformed into that type, but it will not change the thing that you gave to it. That's just a thing to remember. If I want to actually remember what happens when I do that typecasting, I need to save it into another variable. All right, so what happens if I turn my word, which stores 42 in quotes, into a float? What is decimal going to equal?
I'm gonna check my...
All right, I see multiple responses in the chat that are correct. Value is going to be 42.0 because now we have a float, we're going to have that decimal place. And then what do we think is going to happen when we typecast that decimal back to an integer? What's num2 going to equal?
It will be the integer version of 42 again.
It'll be the integer version of 42 again. We'll revert back to that integer value because we're just going to chop off that decimal place when we save it back into an integer. So I hope this illustration makes how the typecasting process works make a little more sense. And on the next slide, we're going to talk about something called function composition. And that is a fancy word for when you have a function call inside of another function call. So if I am doing something like finding the user's age, I don't really ever need to store that as a string. I really only want to store that as an integer. So if I want to just store this as an integer, what I can do is I can put my input function, I can ask the user for something, and I can put that input inside of my int function, and then whatever the user types in will instantly get transformed into an integer and then saved into a variable. So with function composition, functions are evaluated. They happen from the inside outward. So let's assume the user inputs the number 12. So the input here is going to be replaced with whatever value the user typed in. In this case, they typed in 12. But since it's still a string, we've got our quotes around it. When I turn 12 into an int, I get the actual integer value 12, which I can assign to my user value variable. Does that process make sense? And does the order that it happens make sense? You want to do int and then say input because it happens inside outward.
What would happen? What would happen if someone input a string that was like words, and then you tried to typecast it into an integer? What would happen?
That is a great question. So, what if the user input, let's say they typed in hi? Is that a number? What number do you think hi would transform into? I don't know. Hi isn't a number. Python also doesn't know what number that's supposed to be. This
would
cause an error. Say it again?
It's 14 upside down.
That's facts.
Sure.
That's facts.
That is, or maybe it's exclamation point 4. Maybe, who knows? Right. But this is not transformable into a number. Python will get angry at you if you try to transform something that isn't a number into a number. So that is a very good question. Thank you for asking it. So we want to make sure anytime we are doing a typecast that the value we're trying to typecast is castable. So when we are turning things into an int or a float, we need to make sure that we have a number value in the string. If we're transforming into a string, it does not matter what the value was before. You can have any characters you want in a string, so you can turn anything into a string with no problem. Does that all make sense? Sweet. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. Sweet. Is there a way to chat that you understand?
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. I mistyped. Is there a way to like catch that and force the user to input it again without it erroring?
Yes, there is. We will talk about that at a later point in time.
Okay.
But great question. There is a way to catch that error before it happens. We'll talk about it later. All right. There's our lecture for today.